a little late to this party of waking up, and I'm like, I feel overwhelmed, and I
Yeah,
just feel like I
everybody's
have.
got their time, man.
Yeah, I feel like I have to do something. And even if I'm like, so I basically started putting videos on YouTube where it was just like me talking in the woods, like hiking in the woods and shit. But I just bought some new equipment. I bought a Yeti mic and some software where I can like share my screen and like do, show the stories that I'm actually talking about and things like that. But I'm fascinated with this natural law and morality and all these things because it aligns with who I am. And I'm just I'm excited to get to meet all of you and to get into a community of people that like actually share the same values that I do, because everyone around me in my personal life, from my parents to my family, they're fully steeped in a left right paradigm, and just like their worldviews are just totally broken. And yeah, I lived a life of addiction for 12 years, so I know what it's like to lie, manipulate others, and for my own personal gain. So it's like, who better to actually, when somebody recovers from something like that, who better to actually spot when that's happening to them? So I'm late to the party, to this truth party, to the, the morality party, but it's always been inside of me. I was just lost and broken, but here I am trying to do something.
Good
That's
for you,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, that's great. I think
Awesome.
most of us
Good to hear.
like just FYI, I think most of us like to network here. And I mean, a lot of people were talking about it from what I hear is like, oh, it's cool. I get to network with other people. And especially since a lot of you guys are also like starting out channels and starting out videos, like we have collaboration opportunities as well. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Like, and I think it's also cool that on Out of Creation, he's on Instagram. So we're not just on YouTube. We're not just producing videos, and like keep that into account. Like, just because you're not producing content does not mean you can't post here and there on different platforms altogether.
Mhm.
There's different ways you can do it, right? So just keep that into account. Like I tested out a lot of different things on my channel. I don't know if you see through just the past couple months, but it was like I had some news, and then I did a I made some diagrams. I did podcasts. I changed it up and I saw what did better. And obviously the ones that did better were the videos talking about other people. And for me, that's a little like, hypocritical in a way. I'm not a fan of talking about other people and pointing the finger all the time. But it is something that gives you a lot of views, like on YouTube. But you'll always get a lot of views typically on BitChute and Brighteon and other platforms. I don't know why Mark said that Brighteon on the last show. He seemed like he kind of disregarded Brighteon for a second. I'm not sure why he did that, because there's plenty of people who speak whatever they want on that platform, and it's basically owned by independent media. So I don't know why he made that small little comment. But I know he likes BitChute and Library. Those are pretty good. But Brighteon and BitChute are the big ones, and that's where I post. Just for the record, okay?
How do you spell Brighteon? I never
So
heard of
yeah, I'll put it in the chat for you.
it. Okay, right on.
Yeah, so it's Bright Eon. And,
Eon, okay.
yeah. All right, so Ronnie, do you want to go next, man?
Yeah. Sorry, I was. You want to remind me, what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're just doing like intros, so you can just introduce yourself. Where you're from. What do you intend to do? What maybe some of your roadblocks?
Let's see here. I'm Ron Ross. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm 29 years old, and I woke up in 2009, and it's been this long, slow, like from 2009 to 2020, just been each year, each month, just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And my biggest thing has been trying to wake other people up, because I feel like that is how we have the power, is just by the knowledge itself. It's like if everybody doesn't believe in paying their taxes, or if everybody doesn't believe that we need organized religion to control the way we think, I would say what pisses me off about me waking up is, it's like, this is the best analogy I have when people get really frustrated with me, or I get frustrated with them because they won't listen or they think I'm fucking crazy. It's like, look, man, I know it's hard for you to understand that your parents, your grandparents, your school, your doctor, your coach, everybody told you your whole life that 2 + 2 = 5. And I'm over here telling you 2 + 2 = 4. And I'm showing you the equation. Look, 2 and 2, there you go. It's 4. And I can get really angry with people because when I woke up, I just was like, this is so liberating. Holy shit. There's the truth. I see it. Thank you. I was wrong. I don't even know what I believed before. This is incredible. And to not see that epiphany in other people when I attempt to do it to them can just be so frustrating because I'm wondering, I'm like, like, why? You should be thanking me. You should be on your hands and knees, like, oh, thank you, Ronnie. Oh my God, I've been so brainwashed, you know. And so my thing is, my biggest goals have always just been trying to wake people up, you know. And I probably, have a really bad delivery. That's probably my problem, because
Hey, Ronnie, you and me both, man. This is Andy. I've been struggling with that. Super aggressive, and I'm trying because I'm just waking up the last couple of years, and man, I fucking struggle with that. I get so angry because I say one thing in 5-10 seconds, and they cut me off right there. They don't even
right.
let me
Yeah.
explain. So it's like
Mhm.
the fucking anger just it's like they call me crazy. I get in defense mode. I stand up for myself, and then it's just a fucking shouting match. It's fucking
Yeah.
it's insanity. They don't even let me express myself. So that's why I like making videos, because at least I can just talk uninterrupted, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing too for me is with trying to wake people up, you're trying it's like it seems so easy to us, I guess, And it all just seems so clear and so obvious. And I have a hard time about not being cynical because, like take a great example when it comes to curing cancer. Max Gerson cured cancer in the 1920s. His daughter Charlotte created the Gerson Center, which got forced out of the United States, had to go to Mexico. It doesn't matter what anybody says. They literally have thousands, hundreds of thousands of patients at this point that are still alive today because of their treatment. No drugs, no chemotherapy, no radiation. And I'm like, look, man, so I get to a point sometimes where, it's like I deleted Instagram the other day. Like I can get so cynical. I'm like, you know what? At this point, I like watching idiots die. You want to suffer? I won't be there for you. I'll laugh. I'll be like, well, I told you 2 + 2 = 4. I know your doctor told you 2 + 2 is 5, but hey, man, not my problem. So, and I don't think that that's really a positive way to look at it, but it's just when the answer is just right in front of your face, it's like, oh my God, like, how do you help an idiot?
Right. So, I mean, right, like, I think it's about opening the mind, right? I mean, you had one thing perhaps that you watched, one thing that you saw, and it started to open up other avenues for you. And some people have different starting places, right? And when it comes to, like, anger as something, I know that, I don't know if you ever saw Mark Passio's presentation on anger
Yeah,
specifically.
the sacred gift of anger.
Right. So it has a time and a place, right? Like everything does. But it's also important to keep in mind, like, where is that other individual? Some people are more sensitive than others. And if they're willing to raise their
Exactly.
voice too, it's kind of like yin and yang. You don't want to fight yin with yin. But you want to fight yin with yang to a point where it's a respectful balance, not a war. So it's an either or situation. And just so you know, Light Mage joined the voice chat. So let's see, what did he say in the chat here? He said, okay, well, he gave some good points of view. I guess you can look at on the meeting chat for what you were saying. And then he said, I'm on mobile without my headphones at the moment. Okay, so I'm guessing he can't talk or something. Maybe you can talk, Light Mage, if you're here. Do you want to just say hello? I'm not sure if you can. Okay, well, He's been hanging around a lot though, for different Discords, so I appreciate his presence too, and just wanted to let you guys know he's in here, and
Oh,
maybe
word. Yeah, I
yeah,
see him.
when he gets his headphones, then maybe he can introduce himself more, and we can go more do different things. He offers some good word of advice too, and the thing is though about this group in particular in Discord, just to make it very clear and why it's very different from other groups, is we technically, most of us are already mostly on the same page, right? When it comes to the worldview and so forth. And that could be refreshing for most individuals, and that's great. And we can probably talk about it for hours. But at the same time, we do need to get active within our own lives and figure out how we can take action. Because while there is a lot of talk and while there is a lot of information, there's also transformation. And that's what I want to like kind of center this Discord on, is how do we take action. But everybody's willing, of course. I mean, always open to talk to one another, whatever, after the call or whatever. And just like I hang out with Jonathan on his live streams. And, sometimes we just chill there too. So I'm glad everybody gets to meet each other. That's more of also the point here. And just so you know, when you produce like videos like on the web, because I take some notes with what you guys are saying here, your videos are going to find like-minded people if those people are looking for it, right? So you're going to meet more and more people. It's just like how Mark Passio brought together certain individuals, and how maybe I brought together certain individuals. Like we're through our attraction, right? The law of attraction. We're seeking certain individuals who are perhaps already up our alley, or individuals who are like-minded, looking for the truth, because those people are going to be the ones that click on your videos most likely. But those are just some extra notes I wanted to add, and feel free to obviously add anything else, you guys. Gavin, if you want to just go through like yourself just a little bit again, and maybe go through some of your roadblocks and maybe how you ended up here as well.
Yeah, I'll just keep mine simple, because I feel like Andy, Ronnie, Crystal, you guys had good introductions, but we all generally have similar mindsets already, so I don't think we need to.
Right.
We're not going to be bickering about nonsense.
Right. We don't want echo chambers.
Yeah. So I am Gavin. I live in the Salt Lake City, Utah area. Unfortunately, I haven't found anyone from Mark Passio's or this community that lives in my area, so that'll be cool if we could someday. But anyway, so I'm just looking forward to being in this community of like-minded people, and we'll be able to collaborate with future content or videos. And like Cory's been talking about, take action. Maybe we can plan events in our area with a couple people that we find that are somewhat like-minded, and get out there and just hand out flyers, natural law flyers and stuff of that nature. So I guess roadblocks are just not having all of the technological skill sets available. I'm sure a lot can agree on that. Just not knowing the ins and outs of certain software programs, not understanding, I guess, more complex, advanced technology. So I don't know, if we can all kind of collaborate together and support each other in that aspect, we could all become pretty effective content creators. And I think that's pretty much the goal, especially with what Mark talks about too, is just kind of getting the natural law to as many people as possible, and through technologies that can be a good avenue to reach people. But also in the 3D world, it's important to take action as well. And we can talk about ways that we think are effective. And Cory's a great host in that regard, of kind of trying to get people together, like with this meeting that we got going on here. So anyway, that's my introduction, and I look forward to speaking with all of you.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And I do want to add this real quick. Like, I think like part of that. I mean, it's just I'm just being a coach, right? Like, I think we all need to coach each other here when it comes to this, and sort of like what Light Mage was saying, kind of guide them with their own logic where they're currently at. So we have some abstract ideas, some ideas that are very hard for the average public to grasp, that may be far out of their reach. They've never been exposed to it before. They never even had any shed of light onto that, right? just lots of weed and smoke cigs. Yeah, you could do that too. Right, to open the mind or close it or distract it or whatever. Those are problems, and I know you guys are talking about maybe helping out with the addiction, and that's good too. But we do get trapped, right? Like, an addiction is sort of like a trap within itself, right?
Yeah.
So we just got to be careful with those traps. If we're trapped in like where we're the only person that we can make sense to and we can't find anybody else like-minded, that's sort of like a trap. We can't really find our way out. So, if you keep doing what you keep doing, you're going to keep getting what you keep getting. So if you do notice people getting angry over what you're saying, I think most of you will learn from that and probably approach things a little differently. Or look at the individual, maybe talk to them first, understand how their mind works before even going on with anything. And if you notice they have any slight raise of anger or tone of voice, you kind of just let it play out on its own, right? Like, don't feed into the fire, essentially. But that's just like my 2 cents on it. I'm not sure how you guys view it. About the whole anger situation. And then as for like Gavin talking about like technology and material, that's definitely something that we can help out one another with here. Like, there's certain things we can't do necessarily in real life because we all don't live next to each other, but that is one thing we can do on here, is help with technology and material. Even if it's, like I said, video collabs, sending over each other's files and editing a video, doing voiceovers, doing it in parts. Maybe I want to say, hey, Gavin, could you do this part to my video or something? Those are all options. And maybe we can do like step-by-step tutorials too. So if anybody is wondering, like, how do I use OBS? How do I use a video editor? How do I make my videos? I can make a video about that. You know what I mean? So that's always up for grabs. And I'm not sure if anybody's interested in that, but let me know. So, Lawrence, if you want to go next.
Yeah. My name is Lawrence Wasson. I go by Mitch as well. This is actually the first time in my life I'm actually going by Lawrence. I don't know. I'm just like called to do it. And because my first name's Lawrence, my middle name's Mitchell. I live near Detroit, Michigan. And I woke up late 2016 through David Icke. And before then, actually, Mark was the first person I ever was exposed to any type of occult knowledge. I was in a rehab in the Marine Corps, and I stumbled across his like, I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's the presentation he gave about Satanism and symbolism and the military and police. And I was actually in the military when I absorbed that information, and I was like, holy shit, I got to get the hell out of here. And but I didn't actually wake up then, like I had a pseudo awakening. I woke up to new knowledge, but I didn't know what to do with it. So I lived in a destructive way from like 2014 when I absorbed that knowledge, and then to late 2016. And yeah, ever since I opened my eyes, it's just been like, game on, dude. I can't stop. I can't stop. It's just reading, absorbing, applying. And, at the beginning of my journey, it was more frustrating for me because I was like, I just want to reach people. Like right now. And then of course, my intuition's like, well, you can't right now because you don't fully embody this. You don't you got to take the time to actually deprogram your mind and, learn what life is all about. And
sorry, could I just jump in for a second though? Because you mentioned a really good point. Like, it's ironic right there, like what you just said, right? It's like you kind of want to get out there and you want to start saying something, but you feel like you don't know enough. But yet, like, if you don't actually know that much, that's actually okay, because you're closer then to the people who you're trying to appeal to.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, and so what I've realized about that is like, we're all in specific places, along our journey, right? And especially us who are have opened our eyes, and some people have been on the journey for 10 years, some 50, some 1 month, right? And some people can just start throwing out material after the first day that they've awakened, But I've been the type of person that's just like, I have my own genetic makeup, I have my own mind, I have my own, flow and style. So I've been very I really want to understand certain things before I put things out there, because I don't want to put out disinformation or, I really want to I want to be well-rounded. I want to be able to understand a little bit of everything so I can present this like tapestry that people can vibe with, so I can like be as of use to people, a wide variety of people, not just like, oh, I specialize in the government, or like a Larkin Rose type, or I specialize in archaeology, like a Graham Hancock type of person, which they're all very important, and I'm so grateful, and I'm sure all of you are as well. But like, my approach is a very well-rounded approach, and so now I'm in a place. I actually just finished my first slideshow ever last night. I did final editing last night with my spouse. She helped me out, and all I have to do is voice over it. And I'm thinking I'm going to make a video and then put it in like the corner of the screen and present it that way. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm excited to share it.
That's great, dude. That's amazing.
Hell yeah, Lawrence. That's fucking badass, man.
Yeah,
Thanks.
That's great. I'm glad
Right
you
on,
got out
man.
of the ultimate evil.
Yeah, dude. It was it was a really quality experience. I'll say that. Very quality. I learned a lot. Being in the belly of the beast.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just gonna say this. I wish military was pure and just like the Army of Light in the Old Republic and Star Wars or something like that. But that's not the case.
Yeah, we built that out here.
Mhm.
That's what we're doing right now. Really, that's what we're
Exactly.
doing right now.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you, man.
That's great.
All of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I
excited.
appreciate
I'm excited to be here. Very excited to be here. I'm so thankful. Years and years it's been for me just calling out, like, where are you people? Where are people that think? And then bam, here they are.
I know, man. Literally all of my friends are. I hate to say it, but they are dross, and I love them to death, and that's why I keep trying and keep trying and keep trying to wake them up. But I know what you mean, for sure.
Yeah, it's draining, dude. You can't, like, I've had to drop out so many people from my life, and now I'm at the point now where I will not interact with somebody who's just gonna bring me down, or who just wants to talk about superficial shit and has no drive at all. We don't, like, I feel like we don't have time for, like.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I do, yeah. That's really good, and I appreciate the whole intro, and I think a lot of people can, like, I think I don't know. I just feel like everybody here is somewhat relatable to one another, in the fact that we have to deal with some of these things, right? So that's where we have to base our actions on here, is how do we make that appeal, right? And we need to start thinking more action oriented. We'll start to gain more practice with that through time, especially if we do a lot more meetings like this. And I'm not sure how long you guys want to go with this, but I typically was thinking maybe like an hour, for each thing, right?
That's perfect. It's perfect.
That's why I didn't really have too much of a topic for today. I was just like, hey, well, we'll do intros. I knew people would go on, and I do want to make it maybe like more of a rule that we don't talk too much about like Mark. I mean, he's not here, and we don't like go on way too long for certain conversations into like semantics, right? Because that doesn't help anybody. But that's it, right? And I think most of us generally know all that. So, and when it comes to like speaking to individuals and feeling like you can't be able to speak, like, I think what you're doing is perfect, Lawrence. But also keep in mind, like, practice, right? Like, it took me ups and downs. There were things that I said that I didn't mean to say, and I realized it through time, but I didn't put it out on the internet. I practiced with people in real life, because the internet, whatever you put out there, pretty much goes out forever, right? So I make sure what I say on the internet is correct, but getting practice in real life with individuals, I mean, is not a bad thing. And I think that's really good to help reflect on your knowledge. If you want to remember things, like help yourself remember things, you kind of rephrase it to yourself in different ways and kind of connect it to other things and bring it up to your family members or people who are willing to listen.
Right. Yeah, that is the best way that I found. It's talking about the ideas and the concept that you've just absorbed. That is like the number one best book I ever read, like, every day, is speaking with people. I'm about to go over to my family's house in about 15 minutes because it's my mom's birthday. So then I'm going to, see my whole family and be just hitting them with, like, meeting them where they're at, but basically talking about things that they can take in, you know? or
So,
at
like,
least if they're
yeah, I'm not sure if you saw my video on individual appeal, but like I did a video about that and how it's a 6-step process as like the 6-step speculation that's on the website. And the reason why I did that is because you can use nature as sort of the bridge toward these people's minds. Most people generally know and have like a connection to nature, whether it be medicinally or spiritually or just being outside, going to vacation, whatever it may be. Most people have some sort of connection to it. So understand, who they are. Like if it's a religious person I know I'm talking to, I'm going to use nature as a bridge there. If it's somebody who is very political, I'm going to say natural law immediately because they're already attuned to like law, but I'm going to then connect it to the Constitution and the founding of America.
Your audience.
Right. So it's, yeah, like the audience it's true. Like a target market, for example. And I think, we all
Right.
have like a target market. Like for my channel, it's mostly Mark Passio's viewers. Like, let's be honest. I got all those subscribers from Mark Passio's channel. So, I mean, I did get like 100 though, like on my own from just doing the news videos and stuff. And those went really well, but you don't want to be static and you don't want to be dependent on producing content either. You don't want to make it feel like it's a burden. Like Mark Passio may make it sound like he puts a lot of effort and a lot of things where it feels like a burden sometimes. It will feel like a burden sometimes, but you still have to have that drive, that want to do it on your own.
Yeah,
Like,
I also think that keeping in mind that it's going to help you grow spiritually and mentally will help you stay focused too. Because it's easy to like get discouraged, even if no one's listening. But if
Well,
you can't focus on that because it's also going to help yourself come to
I
higher
wanna-
understanding as well.
I want to briefly. Sorry, I didn't mean
Sure.
to cut you off
No,
if I
that's all
did, Monad. I want to briefly just touch on like a theory that I've just been contemplating recently, and it's throughout this COVID thing. I got depressed in the beginning of it. I was just like, oh my god, dude, this is like, holy shit, the control system, blah blah blah. But throughout this process of just being with myself and like just really sitting with myself, I've realized like if you look at this reality as like this, obviously it's a matrix type reality, but if you look at it as like this recycling machine, like they want people hypnotized and stuck in the matrix in the physical domain, thinking in separation, identifying with their physical bodies, because they want to recycle these people because they feed off the fear, right? If you believe in that theory or not, this is where I'm coming from. So like there's basically an archontic force or whatever you want to call them that eats fear, like eats low vibrational energy. So my theory is all we can do is like plant seeds, right? And then they have to water them, right? But all we're really doing is like, look, if you don't wake up, you're buying yourself a one-way back ticket back into this matrix. But the thing about it is you don't really feel how old you are until you wake up, right? So it's like once I woke up, I was like, I don't know if I want to come back here or not. I feel like I've been here a million fucking times. And
Probably
it's almost right. And it's almost like this thing of, I also think about when you die. So why are we so programmed to fear darkness, like physical darkness, like we get up to take a piss at night and we're like, ooh, and you kind of go back, your mind goes back to the scary movies you watched and, and it's like, why is that? Because when you die, they want you going straight into the light and they don't want you to look behind. They don't want you to look behind you for you to look behind you and step into the darkness. It's like a part of this theory is, unless we go into our own shadows and heal ourselves, we are coming back to this motherfucker because we are not going to have the awareness to not go into the light. We're going to be like fucking, moth to the flame.
Yeah.
If we don't. So that's what we're here to do, is to help people wake up so they can have the choice to come back or not.
Right.
It's not even to, yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. It's about the action, and that's what we have to focus on here. That like I'm just making it very clear, right? Like this is what the Discord is for. It's not about necessarily spreading information, but transformation. Hi, Lynx. Sorry. So Lynx just joined in. We are doing intros, just so you know, Lynx. You probably missed some of that because, well, obviously.
I don't know. What's going on?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
A bunch of people here.
Yeah.
Do you hear me like in echo? Because I have my speaker on, or is it sound okay?
It sounds good. I just lowered you a little bit, but yeah, now you're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned some stuff like comments in the comment section. I mean, but we're not here to specifically address that. But just so you know, I mean, the answers are kind of complicated to situations like that, right? Like you can't do one or the other. Like, sorry, but just real quick, the abortion argument and everything it's way more complicated than people think.
It really is. I've given this some thought. Yeah.
Well, no, it's the irony at play, but also it's the word usage. Pro-life and pro-choice are pretty dumb word usage choices for this.
I really hate it.
Yeah, because obviously we're pro-choice and we're pro-life, like duh. It's kind of both. So, but that's just like kind of to give you the easy answer.
It's redundant. It's redundant
too.
Yeah, it's like asking for division in like most things.
Exactly. Yeah, it's to throw a label on something so people are thinking in terms of separation. There you go. You know.
Yeah.
You're throwing a label on something natural.
Dialectic.
Like, okay.
All right. So.
Well, I have something to say specifically on that.
Sure. Well, you can do your intro too, dude. Though, because you're next in line, if you don't mind. And then, sorry, Mason, we'll get to you eventually. You keep getting people.
It's all good. No worries.
Whoever was previous, did they need to finish?
No.
Oh no. We're good.
Okay. Well, my name's Alex. I've had a few wacky experiences. One where you could call it a near-death experience, but it didn't wake me up. Where I did experience death, and as I've experienced it, it's pure blackness in itself. So it was interesting that you brought up, fear of darkness, because there is no sight, and it was just me and blackness. And I was communicating, you eventually realize you're communicating because thoughts come in that are not yours. And then you think back with the impressions. And that's kind of how the communication worked. And this thing that I was communicating with, now I just term as my guide, because we've had a few correspondences. And, that I also I remember a little bit of my previous life, the death that occurred, and then into my next incarnation. So I can talk about that another time, though. I didn't really. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, highly interested.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going, though.
Oh, absolutely. No worries. I didn't really start waking up until I found this guy called Dr. Robert Kassar. And he has this thing, it's Earther Academy on YouTube. That's his YouTube. Really interesting guy, and I learned a lot about fasting, and that's what helped me kind of open up a little bit more to myself, because I've always known I can read minds, I get the impressions of other people, and I can.
Oh, did you cut out? Where's that? My internet?
No,
Okay.
he cut out.
There you are. There you are.
I think what you're saying along the lines of reading minds is consciousness, right? I mean,
well, yeah, it's just feeling the impressions of others through their energy,
exactly.
Whether mental, emotional, or whatever, etheric.
You're very good at understanding individuals, I can tell in the chat. I'm glad I get to speak with you.
Oh, I studied psychology in school as well. I have an aptitude for it.
Yeah, for some reason I tune to that more too than anything, if you watch any of my videos.
I've seen a few of them. I haven't seen your entire bibliography yet, but I'll work on it.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. But after this Earther Academy guy and this fasting, I did a 5-day fast, and that, I gotta say, is amazing. After the 3rd day of feeling shit, you feel awesome, and it's a pretty cool experience. But then I found Mark Passio's Natural Law Seminar and just devoured it, and then went through all of his work. And then over a year, I listened to his entire podcast series and just looked into a lot of the, auxiliary information, lots of books. And I studied tarot and astrology, did my own astrology chart. And that is a really fun study, self-study of your own personality and then how it relates to others. And just a wealth of information in astrology. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, just... Yeah, just read a lot, reading a lot, and you end up understanding more and more as you go. It's a very fun thing, all of this information we have available.
That's great. And do you plan on and helping to take action here? Have you maybe are you familiar with any of the individuals here, and are you trying to reach out to individuals or trying to learn out about more ways that you can help out individuals?
Absolutely, I would love to collaborate with anyone. I've only done 3 of my own videos so far, but
Okay,
I
hey,
also
that's a start.
well, yeah, and I've been in a bit of a wacky place, and I just moved, and during that move, my car broke down, and so a lot of my possessions, including my computer, are in Idaho at the moment, and I'm in Texas, so, which makes it,
interesting, interesting experience.
oh yeah, it was fun. But I had a dream like 2 years ago that told me like everything that would happen, and, you know, generally significant life events and such. So that was part of it.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, so a lot of wackiness with that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of my expertise comes with psychology and understanding other people, and I know a bit about how energies work and how you interact with them, that kind of thing, because I've had a lot of experience with that myself.
Yeah, you'd
in
probably
fact,
understand a lot of my videos then, because some of it is a little psychological.
Yeah, well, that and how it interacts with the esoteric. Because
Yeah.
at first, when I studied psychology, I was way into the hard science, way into the physical side of psychology with all of the neurotransmitters.
Yeah. Cut out again.
Cut out.
I think we lost him again.
This
And
must
at a
happen.
certain point, I think it was extremely necessary because I had a visual of it, and how I see it is I literally reconnected my brain, where I.
Hey, real quick, while he just cut out, I'm gonna go get in my car, so I'm gonna transfer to my phone.
Yeah, no problem.
I'll see y'all in a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm on push to talk right now, so that's
Okay.
probably why it cuts out every
It's
once in a
all
while.
good. It's all good.
Yeah, but I plan on doing more videos and such, and
Okay.
I'm starting with a basis in natural law, just morality generally. The next one I plan to do is how to get to that point where, you know, how to go from where you are to being a more moral person.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, one of those is a self-study technique that I use, which is where you go back through all of the conversations you've had, and you say the words out loud to yourself, and then contemplate them as though you were speaking to yourself. Because a lot of what we say, you know, it's what we need to hear,
Mm-hmm.
and humans never lie. Everyone says exactly what they mean when they say it.
Right.
If it's a joke, then that just means it's a stressful thing that they said. It just creates stress, and that's a relief of stress.
Yeah. Well, some people are also just speaking out of nonsense. You know, the famous Plato quote, you know, the fool speaks all the time, basically.
Well, yes.
And
And they're
whereas
saying
it's
they're-
wise to speak only when necessary, so to speak.
Well, because you're speaking your mind. That is how your mental images manifest.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, it depends on how you look at it, but.
Well, no one lies. Everyone is saying exactly what they mean when they say it.
Yeah, and
if they come back,
yeah. I'd say there's a lot of zombies though who don't actually mean what they mean because they don't take it into consideration. You know what I mean? It's like not thinking before you're speaking or acting. It's still done for a reason.
That would just be it.
It's still done for a reason, but it doesn't mean it was done with consciousness. Right.
Right. They're not in control. They don't realize they're not in control of their thoughts, emotions, and
Right.
actions.
They're like mind controlled.
Yes.
In a way.
But they're absolutely speaking what their minds are.
Right. No, you're still
Sure,
right
yeah.
in that regards. Like I said, it's just very perspective dependent. That's why it's tricky semantics.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Right.
no, they're always saying exactly what they mean with the words they say, though. It's never dependent on, you know, a lot of things. Perhaps the way they created their mind is dependent on those factors, and that's a way you can understand them. And you need that in order to change. You need to know why, and that's what I described, you know, with that leading questions and allowing them to examine their own minds as being better than getting a shouting match, just speaking. You know, you can speak the truth, and that resonates at a certain level. But in order to understand the truth, you have to remove the veils, those illusory images of the mind that cover truth. And sometimes that can be lead. lead does not vibrate. That's why it's very good for soundproofing. Whereas something that can vibrate more, that would be able to hold a higher frequency. You would have to remove the lead and the stone and such in order to get them to a point where they can resonate. Well, because like tuning forks, if you strike a tuning fork, even if another tuning fork at the same resonance, made in the same structure, is in like a glass case, it will still take on that note. It'll still start vibrating, even if the one next to it is outside the glass and would be harder to get through.
Yeah. I love it. All these people in here who are thinkers, love it. Feelers too.
Yeah, I'm a double Aquarius, so yeah, I think a lot.
All right. Yeah, I don't know how we align. I'm a Leo, and so is Mark, but I think Aquarius not so
well.
good. Yeah, not that good.
I've met Mark. We didn't get along.
Yeah, so maybe I got to be careful with you then.
Hey, maybe
it's okay if we understand psychology. Anything's possible, perhaps.
Oh yeah, I'm very agreeable with many people, and
if you seek to understand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, with Leos, it tends to be the self-aggrandizement. I tend to cut people down on that, but that's just it is an Aquarian trait, and I try to tamp myself down a little bit with that.
Well, same here, right? Same. I think we all have some of that we had to deal with, maybe even from our childhood, right? Certain things that pop up.
Yeah, but also the aspects of self that we are, because even though we are a pure soul, when we come into this incarnation, we come under different aspects, and that creates the limitations within the body. The experience that we need to grow, and that's why we choose certain times and periods of incarnation. It depends on whether the aspects are there, and that the physical manifestation of those aspects can be seen in astrology, where your time and date of birth and location are the rays that are cast upon you, and those are the aspects you incarnate with. So doing your own natal chart, you can see what aspects you are, and it is a great exercise in self-respect to look into that, and then see what sort of things are most expressed in you, what is strongest.
Right. Yeah. So you definitely have more of that analytical mind. I love it because I'm in more of the science health field too, and we even have a doctor who uses that. So
I have something to say for links.
Sure, but just so you know, I want other people to have their intros too, and I don't want this to be too late for anyone.
I'll be
we're
very
at 7
quick.
o'clock. Yeah, because we're at 7 o'clock. Just letting you know. Thanks.
I've got all night, by the way.
It's actually 1 a.m.
Yeah, go ahead though, late mage. Also, what do you want us to call you? And if there's a better name.
Dabs, Light, Alex,
Okay.
whatever you want.
Yeah, but what were you going to say?
Anything. So, with a sick child that is doomed to die at birth, that is an incarnation that souls can choose. And when they do that, and they die early, then they get a nicer period of recapitulation, where it's like a softer...
Well, I wasn't talking about dying at birth. I was talking about, Lyme isn't per se instantly deadly. It's just really life crippling, it's
Yes.
really horrific.
Well,
so it's nothing I would want to pass on to another living being, really.
Well, then you probably wouldn't have a child unless you were able to cope with that, and perhaps that's something you need to experience.
I wouldn't want to have a child now, no, but if I would become pregnant, I would have the child anyway, probably. But I wouldn't be happy about it.
Well, it would probably be a rough experience for sure.
It depends.
But you would only have a child if you're
Right.
going to. If a
Exactly.
soul has decided to incarnate
And
in
then it's
that time and
different.
place with
Yeah.
those people.
And then you might feel a little different then.
Well, souls choose their incarnation, and at a certain time and place. That's why not all sexual experiences result in pregnancy. there has to be the soul matter to create the body, because without
Yeah,
that, there's
probably.
nothing.
Okay, so Lightmage, real quick, is there what like boundaries do you have? What roadblocks do you have on your way to bringing the knowledge out to people? Because that's what I'm trying to get here as well, so we can all have more of a starting ground to work with. If you plan on you know, keeping in touch with this community more.
Well, I don't have a car. That's
Okay.
one thing. And I'm working towards that, because I'm working with some builders and I do electrical work, so that should come with time. My thought currently with more public things is I would just bring the paper lockstep, get on a soapbox and read it out loud in a public place, and then have it in print to hand out to people. That's my current idea on something to do physically.
Okay. Well, how about like when it comes to like world change? Because like, I'm sorry, I just keep a really, like, I don't know if you notice, I keep a very grand look at the world. Like I'm looking at like individuals, but at the same time I'm looking at like what's going to happen after my generation, what's going to happen after my lifetime, what are we going to actually achieve all together? And that's the whole point of nature is the answer, right? Is one thing that we can all unify around. So like, is there roadblocks that you particularly have? Is like kind of what I'm asking.
Are you asking for illusory beliefs that I've recognized within myself and am working on?
No, anything that perhaps we can maybe help out with, that you can take more action around, or if you're unsure about what I mean when it comes to like communal action and like bringing everybody together around certain actions, then I can clarify on that. But
absolutely, go for it.
Right, well, I mean, so if I'm not sure how familiar you are with Nature's the Answer and sort of this quote-unquote movement, which is why I put it in quotes, and which is, I think maybe you in particular will really like the presentation I'm working on because it's very in-depth. Because I've had many different videos and many different depictions and diagrams, but I know everybody learns differently and everybody likes to receive it differently. I know maybe Gavin understands where I come from with it, because I know some of you guys are still like new to the whole idea, but it's not like saying, okay, we need like a third political party in the system, but we definitely need an alternative path for humanity with the clear as day path that we do know, right? Like more freedom, more love. It's the simple things, frankly. What Mark Passio says, you know, are the principles, right? The principles to uphold. And he also talks about it on his natural law slides with responsibility and keeping certain things afloat, like life, liberty, freedom. It's even on his own logo, right? And he's planning out something very similar to what I've sort of planned out with his whole What on Earth is Happening network, right? Like it's a network to bring everybody together.
Yeah, my idea is to destroy all control structures by, bringing people to the knowledge that authority is an illusion.
Right. So what this is technically bring all that knowledge to as many people as possible and helping them understand it for themselves, and doing that through conversation, through creative pursuits in particular. So that includes conversation, that includes speaking, that includes cooking, it could include helping people's health, that includes drawings, diagrams, videos, every form of creativity there can possibly be, because we are born creators, right? And if we actually want to keep our human nature, we better use it if we definitely also want to help nature. So
So imagination is the genius that is human.
Right. So well, because you were asking, right, like what is this big goal, right? The big goal is obviously to get rid of statism, because once you get rid of that, and most of us, I think, are on the same page with that, which is why I said obviously, it's the big thing that will ultimately take down pretty much everything else with it. You're talking about destroy the control system. It starts with our minds.
The belief that authority is a thing. Most people I talk to don't understand authority, even if they understand, because there is a form of authority that happens,
right?
And that is those who know more. But the fact that you have to do what they say, or you can be coerced to do so, that is the biggest problem I see, where people are just kind of stuck in that mindset where, hey, if I'm above you, you must do what I say, and I can legitimately, coerce you.
Hey, you're a good person to like have on a podcast. I'm just saying. So,
Oh, I love to talk, and if anyone actually wants to chit chat with me on a podcast.
well, I'll keep that in mind. You can see some of my content, and maybe we can go from there if you want to reach out to me, and we can maybe
Absolutely, I do
collab.
need to. I need to finish more of your work.
Hey, Jonathan's here. Let me tell him again on mic. But yeah, I don't know if I answered your question, but it's pretty simple, right? Like, it's a movement in quotes to particularly integrate humanity so we can all disintegrate and
Yeah.
demote from the very system and understand that from generation to generation what statism is and why it was getting rid of, why it's not moral to have another individual rule over another. It's simple as that. So it does start with conversation, and just so you know what nature's the answer is, it's simply that. I mean, it says nature's the answer. It's basically the answer to your question, right? Is getting back down to
Nature
earth.
all.
Yeah,
The all spirit.
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, so thank you for introducing yourself. Lynx, do you want to introduce
Yep.
yourself, and do you plan on, hanging around with us too, and maybe helping take some action within your own life? See, sometimes I just mess up with words, like Mage. You can't, don't make fun of me for that. I'm not always good with words.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I was really happy to see there was such a large group of people here now. I just randomly clicked in here.
Yeah.
I felt a slight inch of despair yesterday when I was looking at Mark Passer's show and he said it would be like the last one, and I'm like, okay, how am I gonna find people now? You know,
Man.
'cause it's like through his show I've been finding
Yeah.
people like us to talk to, because I've been quite alone, in my life for the past years. Been mostly on my own, living in my own despair, kind of, sick and poor, and yeah, people don't understand most of the things, that if you dive into the rabbit hole, the further you go, the more people disappear from your life, kind of. Seems like.
Yeah.
I guess it's a multifaceted thing. I mean, you can't.
Right. Well, we're
But
here for you.
really,
I mean, I want you to know, though, that, I mean, I'm here for you, and I know, like, a lot of the people here are trying to be very supportive, and that's what we're here to do, just for the record, right? It's like, we got to support each other, not just take action, but within our personal lives, and if we do have anything that comes up, because every one person here makes a difference. Every one
Yes.
person here, they can create so much change. It depends on the opportunities. It depends on how much we're willing to get out there. But you see how one person can change the course of history. I mean, even though it's still through belief and many, many people are still following them, but it's possible for one person to create a big difference, and just don't lose
yeah.
that faith.
So basically, I've been wanting to start to make videos for a couple of years, and I'm kind of still in the process of, starting doing that.
Great.
And I have a lot of ideas, and then you have this 10 years or whatever, of research, but then a lot of that knowledge is kind of in the back of your head. It's not like you're an encyclopedia that can just like burp facts or anything. So it's like I've been kind of struggling, I guess, with like how I'm gonna put it out to the world, and like
Okay.
you want to reach as many people as possible, and like in what way should you do it? Should you do it in? So I've been thinking a lot about that, and now I'm gonna start video editing studies.
Okay. Yeah.
And,
Just practice,
and
right? It's
I've
practice.
basically come to the conclusion that maybe I would like to do something like kind of Joy Camp or JP Sears, kind of satire maybe,
Yeah.
or like comedy.
Yeah, that works
That
out really
would
well.
be one thing. Maybe vlogging, but when you do full-time studies, and you won't have all the time in the world. But I guess my biggest issue is to just start. I'm too scared of starting, and I have too high expectations of myself, and I want to be like really good,
That's
even
the
though I
hardest part,
haven't.
honestly. So I just
Yeah.
gotta dive into it and just go for it.
Right.
And if
You should
anything, I
watch
hope
my first shitty video.
after this call with all of us, I hope this gives you the push, because also creating like that generative force within yourself, just even creating, like a paragraph and putting it on the internet, even that,
Yeah.
like in your DNA and your spirit, helps you and the world.
Yeah, it does. It helps you to put
And,
those thoughts out there too.
And also for a couple of years, I've been feeling more and more, the trap with Facebook and everything, that, you sit and have an argument with someone and it's like it won't change their mind. And
Well, here's the thing
like,
that
I'm just like recently, I just found Britney Spears again. I never really liked him that much, but now I kind of saw some of his videos, and he's starting like to become really, really cool, like speaking out about all this stuff that's going on right now, like in the way that I think is kind of really effective, like with the comedy, that then you can get kind of go beyond the.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing stuff like that, but
So
I had
yeah, I
plans.
guess
But
that's like what I'm mostly thinking of doing right now. So also, if you have like a good idea for a script, or even like a line, or like if you just come up with anything, please hit me up, if you have an idea. Or
Sure.
I do want to
I would
mention.
love to.
You mentioned you were scared, though, right? Like, why are you
Yeah.
scared?
Why? I don't know. Why are people scared?
Well, no, you said you were scared. Like
Yeah,
about
but
going
like,
out
why
there.
are you normally scared? I don't know.
Well, is it about presenting the info? Is it about bringing it to certain individuals, your family? What? Like, I'm just wondering.
I don't know. Maybe it's the fear of not being good enough, or
Okay, so you like to. Okay. So yeah, you're kind of fixated with perfection and stuff, which is not a bad thing. I mean, you have to understand, like, a lot of people don't put that care into it.
Well, I'm a Virgo rising, so.
Yeah, but it is important that you do like make baby steps at least, because like even
Yeah.
like I can look back at my old stuff, and even on my gaming channel I could be like, oh, that was not edited, that was not good, the thumbnail wasn't good. I can criticize myself all day, and we tend to want to do that, right? Is look at the bad side of things, and it's not going to help anything. So
I know. But I'm just feeling right now, it's like, I mean, I've been holding it off for many years, doing this now, and now we're like, I mean, suddenly the whole shit show of the world like turned up 100 notches, with all the COVID shit that's like started in January. So now it's like I feel like I don't have any excuses left of like, and also for my personal health, I've been, maybe it sounds really weird to people, but it's kind of almost easier to like not doing anything than actually trying to become better and then fail. So it's like,
okay.
It's part of the alchemical process, though. When you fall
it's
back, when you
like
fall down, or you mess up, you
I've
learn
been
from.
sick for fucking 14 years, but it's like I still haven't been able to make the changes that I know that I have all the knowledge, but it's like I've been so poor, and then it's like I don't have enough money. So if I only have $50, that's not gonna make any difference. And so I've been like using that as an excuse not to like even make small changes. And
You just have to know you can do it, and do it no matter what. Just start somewhere. Just start somewhere and allow it to come to you.
it's really bad sound from you, Lawrence.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, your mic is very low.
Yeah, I think Lynx, you're from out of the country, right?
I'm from Sweden.
Sweden, right? Okay. Were you one of the people I I mailed a flag to, or no? Because I know some people I did. I just don't know if they get it over there. It's kind of hard. Yeah, Lawrence, your mic is...
No flag here.
Okay. No, I was just wondering because there was people I sent to in Sweden. It's a lot of money, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, no, because...
So is there more people from Sweden in this group?
Not that I know of in this group, but there's people that I know I've sent materials to in Sweden. So,
Okay.
yeah. Hear wind on your mic, Lawrence. So, Mason...
But yeah, last week I created and actually I think it's kind of similar to this group actually, like the goals we have. But I created a Discord channel called Freedom Content Creators. So
yeah, I saw
kind
that.
of would like to...
Hey, can you hear me better now?
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
like,
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I would like to like collect all the people that actually will make content in a group similar to this.
Right. Well, this is actually what this group is for too, right? I mean, if you can see, like a lot of us are producing content. And
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so that's sort of the intentions of this group, and like I said, to support each other with taking action. So that's why I'm asking a lot of like questions around that, just so you know. And so Lawrence, you wanted to mention something. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just saying, I just said you just have to know that you can do it. Like you just have to know that you can do it, and know that you're going to do it, and then allow that topic or that energy to come to you. I found when I was like thinking about it so much and lost in my mind, like, what am I going to do? Am I going to do a podcast? Am I going to do? I have all these ideas. What am I? I was just like, I was getting exhausted, and so I just sat down and I just breathed, and then I was like, you know what? This is where it just came to me, and then I just started, typing up a rough draft on Word document and started making a slideshow. It just kind of like putting it together, like falling, getting back up, falling, getting back up. But the important thing is just keep going no matter what. And even if it doesn't have to be perfect, you just put it out there with your own personality. Don't try to, do what Cory's doing or doing what everyone else is doing. Just doing what you're doing. Exactly. Put your own humor, put your own touch, your own taste into it. And guess what? There's going to be millions of people that love to hear how you speak, no matter what it is.
Right.
Like, everybody's at a different level, a different time and place.
There's always going to be somebody who enjoys it. And like, that's the thing. And you too, you have to enjoy what you produce. Like if you feel that sudden urge of inspiration come to you from watching, a little bit of Mark Pasio or somebody, like use that and make a video, branch upon what he's saying and make it into something more of your own. Make it something that you can attune to. Maybe there's something really relatable that somebody's saying and you want to add on to that. Like that's what you can do really quite easily. The natural law is a very versatile tool that allows you to really talk about anything and deliver it in any fashion that pertains to the bigger picture, right? Like there's so many different branches you can go from just knowing the natural law. If you're able to correlate cause and effect.
A little bit stuck with ideas, with like on how to do it. Like, let's say, I want to try the comedy route. Like, writing a comedy script that can't be so easy, to come up with something that has
well, don't put that in the back of your mind, right?
Undertone, and then you have to have a punchline, and you
look, start baby steps. You're overthinking it, and a lot of us are gonna overthink it in this group. I know that we will, because a lot of us are thinkers, right? But it's baby steps, even small little things. You can do like 1-minute skits, simple. In fact, that people might actually like that more because they can watch it faster, and it's just like simple, and it's maybe like. Yeah.
I know so many people are like, I'm not going to watch an hour-long thing. I'm like, how about a 9-hour thing?
Right.
People
Seriously.
Have a willpower or a desire to watch, 30-minute video. So it's like, yeah, we do need more of the quick, fun, like what you're talking about, links. So.
even if it's like
anything,
2 minutes or one.
Yeah,
I tried to share the, have you seen the London Real documentary? The pandemic indoctrination.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like
really good.
totally banned everywhere. Like I sent it on Messenger to people, and after like sending it to 10 people, it got totally blocked, so I couldn't send it to anyone. And then I got so angry, and so I like wrote this rant that I sent to everyone that was online, and it's like I'm blocked, and blah blah blah, and people they
Right.
were like, I can't, I don't have time for that, and I don't care, and I have to be with my kid, and it's like, but it's your future. It's like, oh, I don't.
Right. So see, you have that to
I
voice.
don't care about like censorship. It's
Look,
good
if you
that
know,
they-
if you know what you're doing is right, and we're gonna be here to back you no matter what, because we know your intentions. We know that you want to do good. We know that you want to produce good content stuff. Look, we're gonna support you, like no matter what. And if people give you a hard time, I mean, heck, you got some of us too. I mean, like, don't be scared. You got now a community of people that some other people may not have, and not only that, like I mentioned, it's like, just don't let those people bother you, right?
Right, yeah.
I had people like comment on my videos and stuff. And it's like whatever, like BitChute. I have
It's
like the
always
most
gonna
brain
happen.
dead. I had the most brain dead people on BitChute telling me I'm playing to the two-party system, like, and it's like they didn't watch the video. It's like they didn't look at any of my other content, or it's like they maybe were watching a video that I did like 8 months ago. Like, no, that's not how it works.
And the thing about those people is that you got to remember, like, what I came to early on was, I don't care what people think because their thoughts aren't their own. They're literally programmed like automatons, just regurgitating conditioning from their mind,
Sometimes you can just only laugh about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, yeah. Like really true seekers, or whatever you want to call, like us people that are really connected, aren't going to do shit like that. We're going to observe, we're going to watch.
Right, you'll know who your real friends are, honestly.
It'll become deflection, honestly, at a certain point. You'll just be like, oh, okay. I don't need to pay attention to that. Or you will have a conversation with the person, but it won't affect you too deeply.
Yeah. Can we all agree that Monad of Creation's voice is like the most relaxing?
Very relaxing.
Like I just go to sleep. It's awesome. No, like enlightened sleep, like meditation.
Hey, is there anybody else to do intros?
Yeah, so Mason and Monad, I want to let them go do that, because I do want to get off too, if you guys don't mind. So you see how fast this goes? 1 hour, it's pretty fast.
Right.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Mason. Go ahead, man.
All right. So yeah, my name's Mason Gleason, just as you see it there here in Discord. So I kind of first started waking up to all this stuff probably late 2016, kind of after the last election, basically, early 2017. I grew up in like a pretty liberal family, like, and that was very entrenched in the whole two-party system, and I grew up always being told, oh, you got to vote Democrat, and then around 2016 election, I started kind of exploring the other side of things, more conservative ideas, and I realized, actually, like, I think a lot of my, I kind of am more aligned with a lot of the beliefs and the ideas on this side, and then the further I went down the rabbit hole, then I eventually somehow led me to Mark Passio.
Now you're neither.
And then right, exactly. And then I learned about anarchy, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, like this is all just total dialectic to, get people distracted from, what's really going on in the world. And, yeah, it doesn't make sense, that these people have the right to rule over all of us. And so, yeah, I basically, and then from Mark Passio, I learned about other people and Larkin Rose, David Icke. David Icke I had heard about before because he's kind of a more notorious name. But, I never looked into his work because, the average person says, oh, he's some crazy conspiracy quack. So I never took the time to ever look into any of his work or anything until after listening to a lot of Mark's stuff. And and also since Mark's he's always urged action in his podcast series and all of the presentations he's done.
Mhm.
I've always have wanted to get involved in some way, do something, put the information out there. But seeing as I was relatively young, I mean, back then I was 20 years old when I was first discovering all this information. So I felt like because of my age was one of my big things. I was like, oh, I'm a young kid. No one's going to listen to me or take me seriously.
Yeah.
If I try to come out and speak, everyone's just going to brush me off as some dumb kid who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Mm.
And actually, just earlier in this summer when I was listening to one of Mark's shows when Cory, when you got on the Discord and we're talking to Mark and you said that you were only 19, I was like, I think you just had a birthday recently though, so you just turned 20. But
Yeah.
But I was like, holy crap, like what? And then because you talked about your website and I checked out NITA.1 and watched some of your videos and I was like, wow, like holy crap, like this guy's even younger than I am and like he's out there doing stuff. Like why do I need to? What should I be afraid of? He's putting out good information, and I've started to realize that recently. That none of that, any kind of fears that I may have had, or in the end, or I mean, they're just kind of silly because as long as if you're speaking the truth and you're putting the truth out there and you're doing the right thing. So in the end, even if people may scoff at you or not take you seriously, there's bound to be, like a lot of people have voiced already, while we've been talking here, there's going to be people who are seeking out this information and that will find you and that will be like-minded and will actually have an open mind to listen to you. And
then from there, right? And then from there, what do we got to do? We got to figure out and coordinate our actions, and that's what I created. I wanted to first bring people together, and then once we can do that, and we keep looking to bring more people together, because that's essentially what we got to do. Not for a world government or anything like that, but for understanding. Like we can all understand one another. It doesn't matter. We can disagree on certain things, and it won't even matter because we all generally know at the end of the day the real threat is statism and certain things, right?
Right. Yeah, and that was another thing too that I was really excited about having this chat tonight and kind of building this little community that we've got here, because that was another thing that I guess kind of a negative thing that came with me waking up, which some other people have voiced similar experiences where like I kind of I got really frustrated and angry that that I'd basically been lied to my whole life, and that and then when I would try to talk to people in my personal life, they wouldn't really be very receptive to what I was saying, or it would just degenerate into arguments really quickly, and then neither of us were really listening to each other.
Trust
and
me,
it kind of
we all had that. Even
right.
You can ask my sister. It's even with my own family. I had to battle everybody.
Oh yeah, especially my family. That was they started like people, like they'd get uncomfortable when I'd come around sometimes just because or they would just like, I'd get weird looks from people like, oh, is he going to start talking about that crazy conspiracy stuff or something,
Yeah. And some people think, the problem with me too is like, I'm sorry, it's just some people think that's all I'm going to talk about now because like I'm so focused on this and trying to help people with this, and I'm like, guys, this will literally save the world, and nobody really seems to care as much as I make these big claims.
Yeah.
Nobody even cares for the fact that I'm like, hey guys, this is the blueprint for independent media and everybody who understands freedom to move forward. Like people don't even understand that. I'm like, guys, at least I thought you were more open-minded, but no, you guys want to keep listening to David Icke and Mark Passio. You just want to listen and absorb all day and not do anything for yourself.
Right. And that's another thing too that I realize is, I mean, because since I found Mark Passio, I've pretty much just been taking in information. That's pretty much all I've done for these past, however long it's been, 3-4 years now.
I did the same thing.
So, and I've realized, because that was another thing at first. I was like, oh, like I know somebody, I forget who said it, but someone earlier said something about, they felt like they didn't have enough information to where they could come out and start, spreading the message. Yeah, so that was another thing that kind of held me back at first. I was like, oh, I don't know enough, so I got to take more time to take in more information.
See, that's a limit. It's just it's an artificial limit.
Right. But I think it was you, Cory. You made the point. I believe it was you that even, when you first start to wake up, that little bit of knowledge you have, that's still, a lot further ahead than most people are.
Yeah. And by helping out other people, you're helping out yourself too. Because
Right.
think about it like this too, is like, let's say we develop technology, like this is an analogy. So let's say we develop technology super far and complex. Everybody knows how to develop the latest technology. But because everybody knows how to develop the latest technology, they forgot how they even got there in the first place. So it starts to be to where you have to go all the way back to the beginning to know how to continue on. Otherwise, you cannot innovate further because you don't understand the basics to that creation. So therefore, you're only a consumer and somebody who is just making off of the remnants or the decay of the product, but you're not going to the roots of the product, so therefore you cannot continue the product in a new or innovative or creative way. So it's necessary that we go back to the basics, literally, to even the nature of one who is not of nature, or the nature of that of which is denatured or impaired in any way, because all that is still there for a reason. Like Light Mage said, it's like, it's not like anything is bad or good. I mean, there is objective morality, but when you look at the reasons for actions, right, like that in the sense is not necessarily good or bad. They come about for a reason. So everything comes about for a reason. And but yeah, the actions themselves can be deemed, good or bad in their manifestation and their attraction. It's a little hard to explain, but that's why Mark is very particular with his words. And we don't have to get all that specific either to just understand, okay, well, if I jump off a cliff, yeah, that's what I know what's going to happen.
Well,
right.
Perhaps a better way to say it would be right or wrong, because you can be, closer or further away from truth in your mind. And so perhaps you're not engaged in, immoral action, but you can be wrong in your thoughts, in that you have an inaccurate interpretation, that your model in your mind is not that which is.
That's a good way to put it, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's pretty much my background and the general gist. And I'm just like I said, I'm just really, glad that we've got this little community going here. It's making me optimistic, because I mean, that was another issue that I've had. The past few years, I've kind of been, really down and pessimistic because, just because in my personal life, as I try to spread the word and talk to other people, when people don't seem very receptive and open to it, it kind of just would bring me down a little bit, and and then that would make me not want to take action even more, because I'd be like, oh, is it even worth it?
Yeah, it's very discouraging.
Yeah.
So I just have a question regarding the time of, is this going to be like a weekly meeting in a specific time, or?
Yeah, I'm thinking we can do weekly. I'll have to see the feedback from everybody.
I won't be able to attend, like, it's like 1:30 in the night for me. And like I start school in 2 weeks. So like, would there be any possibility to have like
yeah, so I'll make sure we can schedule with you too. I'll keep in contact with you. I'll keep in contact with you. I'll make sure to reach out to you, because I did not reach out to you before this, because I had other individuals like planned on the meetings, because there's a little meetings tab. If you see, it shows like the list of people that I contacted. So now I can add your name to that list, and I'll make sure to keep in contact with you, okay?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so then we'll figure that out. I'm pretty sure most people will probably want to do some sort of weekly thing. But of course, everybody can come in here at any time and talk to each other. That's always something people can do. But like, as for like, something that we actually organize and stuff, yeah, probably weekly. And I don't mind recording it either. So if anybody's like, wants to do that.
It would be nice to have a little group, to talk to, but it's gonna be hard, since I have to get up at 6:30.
Well, go get sleep if you have to.
Yeah.
No, I haven't started school. My school starts in 2 weeks.
Okay. So, Manad, do you wanna go real quick, man? Sorry that time is just flying by, and this is why we didn't really have any topic. You see why?
You talking to me?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
do you guys mind, like, I record all my interactions in case anybody frames anything on me, so I did record this whole thing, but I don't have to post it or anything, so that's something, like, up to you, but also because everybody was leaving, it allows everybody to understand each other's intros and so forth. And then if everybody wants to link me their channel, I'll have it on the video if I want to make a video about it. But that's up to everybody. I have to get the approval of everybody before if I'm going to do that.
I have
I'm
no
down.
problem with that.
I'm down, yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, or it could also cut out sections too, whatever. Like, because I don't know if Light Mage and Links, and I don't know if they're cool with that either.
I don't care.
Yeah,
All right.
true.
Yeah. I just figured that's a good way people can catch up too, because everybody's in and out and whatever. So, go ahead, Monad. Go ahead. Now you know you're on video too, so.
Yeah, it's funny, this whole time listening to everybody, I'm trying to figure out how to make this condensed but descriptive.
That's all good.
And I wasn't going to go into my awakening process, but I think it's sort of interesting. When I was born, and the gist of it is that ever since I was little, like, the main thing I said when I was little was, I don't like people. I don't like people. And I don't know if I was, like, tapping into some dissonance within someone's soul, or just purely just an immoral person, or I was just shy, I don't know. But I've always known that the world was fallen, and I always had, like, a lust for truth and reality and shit. So as I grew up, I was just a Christian pretty much. But the things that really sparked me was when I was 14 in 2007. Alex Jones woke me up to 9/11. That was big. And then
Nice.
I was, like, pretty anti-state, and I just thought it was U.S. politics mainly. I just thought it was, a globalism thing, nothing bigger, and I didn't really think too much about it. And then I learned about ancient history and human origins, specifically the truth about the Inuit Milish and the Sumerian civilization. And then I got into, like, a new age funk. I got into astral projection and all that stuff, and, like, really lukewarm new age topics. And a good thing I found Mark shortly after.
Yeah.
The natural law seminar. I ended up watching the 9-hour natural law seminar three times in 2 weeks, I think.
Wow.
I just ate that. I'm sure a lot of you here did similar. I just ate that up. So and then I moved on to the podcast, and he really helped me with worldview healing, like, big time.
Yeah.
I mean, I called in the other week just to thank him, and, like, I know how discouraged he is with how fallen and degenerated this Homo sapiens is. After all the prophets that have come here, after all the people who have come here, incarnated here to help humanity, we're still like this. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that I don't think he. I know he gets it, right? I know Mark gets it. I've listened to him talk about veganism and smoothies, on like for 2 hours, like, be chill, talk about reverse osmosis, water, and health. And then I hear him call his whole viewership retarded, trash. So I'm like, I get it, man. I totally get where you're coming from. But, like, we can't force. It's a weird dynamic between making and expecting humanity to wake up, and knowing that ultimately it's everybody's free will choice to start the awakening process towards natural law and truth, and stop abdicating our choice to external authority. So it's like it's this hard balance between getting upset and everything. And I made a list, actually. It brings me to sacred anger, because I know Andy and Ronald were talking about anger, and most of the time, I think Cory and I are pretty similar, like, trying to stay.
Yeah, well, I was telling Gavin, though, like, I was raised very different from Mark. I understand where Mark comes from. Like, he was in Satanism, he was in dark metal. Like, of course he's gonna have that anger side to him also naturally. Like, not aside from just the world being crazy. Like, I'm angry too, but, like, I told Gavin and them, like, what happens is it's more of an occasional thing for him, because it's more of part of who he became.
Exactly.
So like, I can choose to become angry, but I'm not going to be angry a lot. And I feel like he is more likely to, being that he's been exposed to more of those environments. But he knows, so like he knows it deep down inside.
Does.
He did
Does.
talk about how he had to go on a hiatus and stuff like that
Mhm.
because of his temper. So he
Right.
kind of like knows that he's like sometimes hitting the limits with that. But that's why I said like I don't really want to talk too much about him. And as for like the vegan thing, he even said it the show, which was great. He's like, don't transition to it right away. Like that was a big thing I was making in my vegan video, which I guess
that was
some
really great. I was trying to
Yeah.
share that around big time.
yeah, I appreciate that, and
That was
I
like
have
the best take on it, I think.
yeah I have more clarification for that in the next
I'm more
one.
inclined to be like Mark.
That-
I have lots of anger issues too.
Yeah, like-
I just want to lay out the last of my intro just to get it over with, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Before I forget.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I hate to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
Sure, I want to get it over with. My intro. But sacred anger, I think like souls and people are just built differently for different purposes. Everybody serves the purpose at a different time. So I totally support Mark and Andy and like me. I have videos on my YouTube channel calling the human race retarded. I used to do that often, and I think it's fine to have people who do that because some people need to have a rude wake up call.
Right.
And so I think it's just time and place is important. But you guys can find me. I'll be here all the time, but you can find me on Instagram at Monad of Creation, YouTube Monad of Creation, and I am going to start a podcast.
I think a lot of people here are going to do that.
Podcasts are great, and I think this is wonderful, Cory, and I want to say thank you, dude. And the more I research nature, Gaia, Sophia, the Holy Spirit, Mother Earth, it's nature. Nature is the fundamental building block of all reality.
Yeah.
And so when I met you, I was like, wow, that's like spot on,
So is your name. People keep going back to it. I heard someone mention Monad in a different Discord. The one with the circle and the line through it. I could send that to you if you want. They mentioned it, and I was like, hey, I know a guy who calls himself Monad of Creation.
Oh. Huh.
And it was just like, yeah, there were like 20 people on voice chat when that happened. They have like a meeting thing too. They're not like as action oriented. I know Chris Green is probably from that community. Like I said, he probably hears us. But they do have a lot of like really good tie-in knowledge with Mark. I think their perspective of it is like natural law and application in talking about divine law, like I said. So it's like multiple different ways of looking at the law, but essentially the same thing. And like that's the thing, right? Like everything comes down to nature is like kind of the point I make it, like with all the different things. So yeah, for sure.
Right.
I appreciate the intro, man, and I appreciate all the support and everything. And I appreciate everybody who stuck around, because I think I'll probably wrap it up too for myself, if you don't mind.
Good meeting everybody. It was awesome.
Yeah, pleasure meeting everyone.
And the more-
Literally
Yeah,
are
definitely.
Souls of truth, and it's so great to hear so many like-minded people and share a community of just open awareness.
Yeah, we'll have to
vital.
speculate more about like the actions we can then take, and maybe if we do have like people, like I know Andy is gonna visit me perhaps in real life one day. Like we're gonna have some things, some events, maybe some coordinated efforts across the
awesome.
country. Yeah, I mean
That'd be really
we
great.
could reach each other eventually with enough people.
Like the Free Your Mind conference that was big for a long time. Last year, my goal was like, I want to start a conference when I'm like over the next few decades, and that could be a reality. I don't know about the COVID 1984 traveling and stuff, but
Yeah.
let's see.
But also like we need to reach out to those in the dark, right? Because like I said, like we can produce videos and you'll find like-minded people like this, but like reaching out to those in the dark is going to be hard, and those are the people who really need it. So we need to think
Allegory
about
is good for that too. And
Allegory?
leading by example, just your everyday action with strangers too.
that. I see. And that's what allegory means.
No, I don't know why I jumped from allegory to leading
okay.
by example. That was just super weird, but
Hey, Cory, I got a question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I guess I just missed this. Where are you and Chris, your sister from?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh, right on. Cool. So you guys are close to Mark then, maybe.
Oh yeah. That was like a coincidence, yeah. There's a lot of coincidences, but yeah, that's a coincidence. If anybody's interested, like, because I know like maybe I haven't introduced myself to you guys, and I guess since this is going on video, I mean, like, I know I talk about it in my videos and stuff, but I don't know. I'd say I also have it in my presentation, but it's like a natural awakening. I would consider it like, and like to say natural, it's like kind of weird. Like, what context am I saying? I'm saying like I've always questioned the world, and I've always came to the conclusion that nature has like the answers, and to always look to nature for that. So when I was exposed to Mark's information, it was like, holy cow, this actually puts into perspective, and not only that, like perfect wording, everything that I've been observing over the years. Like he actually took out all this time that I don't have to do. I mean, like if you think about researchers or philosophy, people who do philosophy and write books and stuff, is they're doing the work that you don't have to do because they're doing it for you, and they're helping you reach new levels of consciousness.
We stand on the shoulders of giants, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So like we're often like talking about other people and what they've done, and we need to leave that legacy for ourselves as well, and our children and then the future generations. That's what I hope to do with this whole thing. Is like I'm not just looking at what we can do now. I'm looking at what we can do way past my time. Like that's what's essentially necessary too, because there's just a lot of people. There's a lot of different ideas, and even if you get us to a society where there isn't government, which by the way already has certain requirements that I've covered, keeping that in sustainability, like with a message as a mission, like, you know, to pass down to your children, with the knowledge to pass down to your children, like that's essentially what I'm getting at. So that way this stuff stays in circulation even after you've reached the conditions that you want. So I'm thinking, yeah, like I'm thinking here and I'm thinking way after. So just letting you know, like my mind sometimes is going to be all over for the very reason that I'm trying to speculate the whole condition of what we are now and where we're going. Like, so when somebody mentions abortion to me, I'm thinking, well, okay, if you don't like abortion so much, you can't just say you don't like it. That's not going to change anything. I'm thinking immediately going to, okay, well, how are you going to change that? Well, we're all pro-choice because you can't force anybody to do anything that's violating natural law. And then you're all pro-life technically because we want people to live. So what is the right answer? Well, it's recommendation. You recommending and getting the knowledge out there that is necessary to say, well, this is moral and this is immoral. And you can't really force anybody to say, okay, well, this is the one thing you have to do. But by getting rid of big pharma and all the by essentially giving ourselves more freedom and living under natural law, and by recommendation and principle and getting those ideas out there instead of being flooded by ideas of propaganda by big corporations, essentially those corporations and those mass collective ideologies, you know, will not exist in a world of natural law being in circulation. And like that's what we have to think about here is like, look, even if you want to get rid of that, like it'll get rid of everything else that isn't meant to be on this earth, you know, just by simply living in alignment with it. So
absolutely.
That I guess that's, you know, the way I could put it. There's obviously certain things like, so if people don't know, like I used to think as a child, like thinking negative things would give me good things. So I had things way off. Like I had the total opposite of natural law. I was the major indoctrinated by the system, like as in I thought government and everything was truly essential to life on earth. That we basically can't live without it. So I was probably in some of the deepest indoctrinations with that. So that allowed me to also understand coming out of that more, if you will.
Yeah, having perspective is great.
Yeah, but like that was bad because like I had no clue what I was thinking with that. I didn't correlate cause and effect like I do now. So that's like a pretty big deal. But I've always had that obsession, see, with fixating my mind on certain things to achieve certain things. I just was looking at it completely wrong. So.
Well, and to like add on to that, Cory, like you.
I was stubborn.
Well, I'm just saying, like you kind of transformed our whole entire household too, to kind of wake up and really believe outside the ideology and indoctrination of like everything. So. And that is kind of like a ripple effect with the people that we know. Yes, some people call us Quakes or
Quakers, no, quacks.
But like it's impressive and it's so surprising to me that there's so many closed-minded people that when we talk about certain subjects, they are so uncomfortable. And it's just like, wow, that's how like indoctrinated and brainwashed people are. And it's just like, that's why we are here to like wake people up and kind of just like,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter what the information you have to present. If they're not even open-minded to begin with, you're not going to have any success. So you get the first step, step one, talk to the individual, understand who they are, right? That's why I have a 6-step process to that. It's like, step 6 is the information.
Right.
It's like, so, but yeah, so thank you guys for everybody joining this. And does anybody have any last comments to say? And I'm sorry if, I'm also like rushing off here though, because it's been a long time now. It's been like an hour, 30 minutes or so.
That is long.
Well, yeah, I do have other things to work on, and I didn't want anybody else to think it's long, because I want to keep these typically within an hour. So, just for example, for the next one, you know what I mean?
That since this was an introduction and we had a really large turnout, Cory, like you literally had like.
It's true. We got more people than I expected.
And if you think about it, if every person had like 5 minutes, like that's of course going to be more than an hour. So I think this first meeting, of course, is going to be longer. The next meeting may be a little shorter, but I think as long as everyone gets their thoughts across and everyone gets a chance to speak, it's going to be a very successful thing. So thank you, everyone, for joining.
Yeah, link your Instagram and stuff.
Thanks, everybody.
Link your Twitch and stuff if you want.
It was nice meeting everyone.
Yeah, it's great meeting everybody.
Well said.
Accidentally stumbled in here.
Thank you all.
Aww.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's great to see that people are from around the world too. Like you say, you're from Sweden, so that's so cool. How like you're spreading word over there too, and it's not just here.
Yeah,
so
we need that.
Awesome.
We need that for sure, worldwide.
Exactly.
So we'll do our best. I have a Russian friend in here, but I don't know how much that'll help. He might not understand the natural law, like if it's not in Russian. Like I kind of wish there was a translate for that. I think we need to figure something out like that.
I saw someone online translating all of Mark's slides into, I don't want to butcher it, Sanskrit maybe, I don't know, something.
Yeah, we need to think about that though. Like we seriously need to think about that, because we can't just do this in the U.S. I mean, because the problem is even if you make a voluntary society within the U.S., that's like the whole reason why people are like, well, you still need an army to keep those rights intact, because there's other armies around the world, so we're more likely to break. See what I mean? So we have to make this a worldwide thing. It has to be worldwide.
For sure. That's definitely.
Is there anyone from Australia here?
No.
I know a lot of people from Australia, oddly enough, and then everything popped off in Australia, which was so weird. Bless them over there, it's rough.
Does anyone else have like any last comments though? Just so I can wrap up.
No, this sounds cheesy. I would laugh at myself for saying this, but keep your head up and stay positive while remaining to cast light on the absolute utter darkness. So,
amen.
I don't know,
Seriously though, that's perfect.
That's great. So. That's a great final word. No, let's end on that. That's great.
Yo, Light Mage, do you have anything else to say, man? If he's here? Maybe not. He's got the push to talk. Maybe not. Well, thank you guys, and thank you for anybody who was watching this. Peace.